Hey everyone, Donna Nelson, holistic empowerment coach, lifestyle strategist, and organizational well-being consultant. Welcome back to my series on stress management, building resilience, and providing you with tips, tools, and some insights and strategies for how to feel more empowered, living more at ease by having what you need to feel less stressed in this chaotic, unfamiliar time, especially right now. So, as my heading said, if you caught that, if you are feeling frayed, frazzled, and just fucking had it right now, then I have some tools that I want to help you with today, because that seems to be the vibe around here for someone today. So I think it's a good time to maybe help some others with this as well. So here's the thing. When I want to speak about our body and our energy, how our body moves, this kind of embodied aspect of our energy, and why sometimes we get to this feeling really frayed, frazzled, like shit's just not fucking working right, and it's all within us. So if that's where you're at, this should be a little helpful to you. So I want to help you understand how to move your energy in a constructive, embodied way so that you can just feel more at ease. And ultimately, of course, as I have said in this series over and over, is the idea of getting to this state of resilience, these having this default, if you will, that you're things just kind of bounce off you, and we're not pulling all of this energy in, or pulling this energy in and holding on to it, not processing it out to the point that we've just fucking had it, because now we're just fraying at the edges, and shit just falls apart. And so those who have this default tendency of holding things in, bottling stuff up, not moving the energy out in a constructive, timely way, tend to be the ones that become explosive and really frazzled over time. So that's what I want to be able to help you with today a little bit. So the idea is that any energy, we want to move with the energy instead of trying to control the energy, being in resistance of the energy. And if you think about, I'll use two energies that I think most of us can relate to, and that is the energy of anxiety and fear, right? So anxiety and fear are energies that want to move forward, move up, move out. Because when we think about those energies, right, they're kind of explosive energies. It's energy that's building up and up and up in the body, so it has to move out. And when we, if our tendency is to close in, right, to pull ourselves in, to either protect ourselves because we've had to do that for some reason in the past when we've become afraid or been judged for being afraid, or because it has things maybe have turned out bad when you have gotten anxious. So if you have a tendency to have panic attacks, and you know that the more anxious you get, the bigger that energy gets, the more likely it is you're going to go into a full-blown panic attack, and that turns out very badly. So the tendency may be to just keep bottling this in and resisting that energy. and then it does turn into a panic attack, or it just becomes really painful, or then the anger builds on top of that. So, um, so thinking about what your natural default reaction is from a bodily perspective. How are you containing that in your body? Are you constricting by, I'll just say, turning feeling anxious into anger and then tightening up? Or feeling like when you're angry, you can't speak up, or you can't flee the situation, right? So our body naturally, when this energy builds up, generally we're going to want to do one of a few things, right? We're going to want to fight, like retaliate, speak out, become physical. And that physical may not necessarily be toward someone, it could just be banging things around, slamming doors, punching holes in the wall, not necessarily people, right? So, how are we moving that energy out? And that's obviously not constructive, right? What I just described. But and if you're resisting and holding that energy in, then it's like I don't know why this is the analogy that came to mind, but it's like holding the cap on the Coke bottle, right? And then shaking it up. So there's all this energy that wants to come out, but you're holding the cap on it. So something's going to explode, right? Like it's not going to turn out well. That shit is eventually going to go all over the place. And that's what's happening within our bodies. So in some form or fashion, at some point, that is how this energy is expressing out of us. So, and of course, the harm within us, by having that resistance, holding things down, whether it's not speaking up or not moving that energy forward, is causing harm to our body by triggering that stress response, and then things tightening up. And now that energy is trying to find a place to store in our body. And that, for many, when we think about, okay, what is the sensation that my body is feeling when, I don't know, when I get angry, right? There's a default for most of us, right? So what does my body do when I experience this situation or I have this emotion? And learning to work with the body to notice these things, right? It's why so much of the work is having this self-awareness, not just from what our thoughts are and what our behaviors are, but more importantly, what's going on in our body, right? What are the sensations? What are the emotions coming up? That's the root of what we have to work with to resolve the stuff that's going on in the head and in our behavior. So much of the work most people do is around mindset and strategic, tactical behavior change. And then they get on this cycle of I'm falling out of pattern again. It's because when we don't do the body work, working with the energy and understanding what those default tendencies are from an embodied perspective, we don't effectively long term sustain those other changes. So it's why mindset is so hard. We're like, why is it so hard to stop this negative self talk or whatever, right? It's because we have to work with the whole person, the whole body. You can't just do that one piece. Okay, but besides that, so the reason, what did I have on my notes here? Because I literally just wrote 6 sentences down, but I don't want to skip anything. So when we start with, and I'll come back to how to move that energy. So, but what's important in beginning our day, I guess I'll just go to the solution and then come back to the why. Um, the reason that we want to start our day with a practice to purposefully and intentionally um, organize our body and our thoughts and our behaviors for the day. It's our preparation. So the practice, whatever the practice is for you, and I'm going to give you what I mean by that. But through this series, it's what I've been talking about. They're all practices. Every day, it's something that you can practice and adapt into your lifestyle to get you into this daily, purposeful, intentional embodiment, if you will, so that you're organized and prepared. And I don't necessarily mean organized like, okay, I have my to-do list and I have my schedule for the day. And that's a piece of it, right? But I mean like your body, your mindset, your emotional self, you're organized. You're starting from your center, you're starting from grounded, you've got a vision and a direction. And because you've done the practice, you've done the work opening your day, you're going to now have the capacity to deal with more because you're starting from down here and not starting from up here from an energy point of view, from a stress perspective, if you will. Like you're not starting your day already like frazzled and had it. So what is the practice? So the practice can be a number of things, right? So the practice can be, should be, best to be, some form of meditation. And that could be a guided meditation. That could be you just sitting with yourself. It could be in deep reflection, like just being quiet with yourself, but doing some journaling around what's coming up. That can be some meditation. But it's always best to have a meditation where you're able to just be quiet and know what's coming up within your body, but also the thoughts that are coming up, and hearing some direction around really just inspiration. Like that's what I call it. I always have some kind of like aha or like, oh, that's a solution. And we don't get the chance to find these solutions from within until we have that time of meditation. And your meditation could be that time in the shower, right? When it's just like white noise, there's nothing else interfering unless you have kids that are always bothering you when you're in the shower. Okay, so but one practice is meditation. The other is setting an intention. So, what is your intention? So, what I mean by that, so in another video I shared, what are these quality, empowering questions that you're asking yourself when you're starting your day, right? So, today I'm deciding that I'm going to feel, or making a decision about the kind of day that you're going to have. Like, what's your intention for the day, for yourself, how you're going to serve, how you're going to show up. That more important than I'm going to knock off everything on my to-do list, because that just may not happen. And then if you haven't set up the determining factor about how you're going to be as a person, how you're going to feel today, not getting the to-do list now determines how you're going to feel because that didn't get done. So that's why it's important to ask these other quality questions. And then another practice is, what do you do to get grounded and centered? It could be anything. It's your thing. But whatever your getting grounded and centered is it listening to, a positive inspirational podcast? Is it going for a 30-minute walk? Is it sitting in meditation? Is it journaling? Um, just sitting with your coffee in the morning, or whatever those things are. So what are you doing? Is it breath work? I don't even have that here. It's just, I think it's because it's so automatic. I forget it sometimes. So, the power of breath work for getting yourself grounded and centered, right? And then what are you doing to feel energized, right? So now we have to have this energy to get through the day. And we're going to have more energy when we do these other things because we've released a lot of this negative energy so that we have more purposeful energy to accomplish and feel more empowered and more confident. And we're going to be able to do it with ease without the stress sucking the energy out of us. So, to go back to now, so that's why the practice is so important, to start our day off that way so that we're purposeful and intentional, and starting off in an organized, prepared way from an embodied perspective. And then, so to go back talking about this energy, right, of feeling frayed and frazzled and feeling like you've just fucking had it. What do we do with this big energy that wants to move out? So until we get to this place of having the capacity where stuff kind of bounces off us, or we don't absorb in all of this energy and take on all of this negativity, what do we do in the meantime to process through that big energy that wants to move out? When that energy wants to move out, you have to move toward the energy, with the energy, instead of trying to control. And what you're doing when you're trying to control that energy, you're really holding it in instead of allowing it to move out. So we want to allow it to move out, and the way that you do that, moving forward with the energy. So when energy like anxiety and fear that's coming up out of us, we move with that through a number of ways, and you decide what that is for you, right? So how do you do that? You could turn on music and sing, right? Because singing is big energy. It wants to, our voice wants to move out of us, right? So we're trying to get the energy out of our body. So that is a really fun way. It gets the endorphins going. It gets all of these are going to be things that are going to create major energy shifts, right? So if you like singing, whether your voice is good or bad, it doesn't matter, like mine, then it's still moving that energy forward and out of your body. So that would be one way. Another way would be to go out for a walk, moving your body forward, right? Or going for a run, even if it's for 10 minutes. It doesn't matter. Even something like if you have a rebounder, something where you can just bounce up and down, you're helping to move that energy out in a positive way. So those are just a couple of ways that you can move the energy out. And yes, you could journal it out and write it out, but it would still be better to not just write. It's better to speak it out, to literally move air out of your body. And so doing something like speaking, singing, and walking or running, moving our energy forward is the best way to do that. So like one of the shortest ones I've done so far. All right, so we're at 20 minutes. All right, so if you need more help with ideas on that, or you're dealing with energy that you're holding in as opposed to energy that is frayed, frazzled, and trying to move out and forward, and you need some support around that to help you with how to do that, or what they are, or how it is for your body, that would be best with the way that your lifestyle is. then there is a link in this post, and you can reserve time on my calendar, and I'll help you with that, or share in the comments and I'll give you whatever kind of input and feedback that I can, and maybe we can just talk through it in the thread. So whatever that is that I can help you, just reach out and let's decide what the best way is to do that. And that's all I have for tonight. Thank you for joining. And again, say hi in the comments if you're watching this on the replay or live, so that I know you're here, and let me know how I can help you. And if you know someone that would benefit from this, share it on your timeline or tag them. All right. See you next